welcome to this week's edition of Homemade Money. And you are here today to talk about how to do what you love and turn it into gold. And we're here with Yvonne George.
Hi there.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. You're going to love Yvonne's story because she has taken something she loved and some experiences that she's lived through and turned it into gold in her life. So tell me a little bit about yourself. You're a West Texas girl.
No, actually East Texas.
Oh, East Texas.
Born and raised in East Texas. I was a country girl, worked in the garden, but since I worked in the garden so much in my younger days, I guess that was instilled in me to be a hard worker. And my family came from a great family, and they raised me right and taught me that, hard work does pay off.
It does. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Someone told me the other day, Albert Einstein said 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration.
And it definitely was a lot of that.
That's pretty much hard work. And you have children?
Yes, I have 3 children. I have one son that lives in Australia,
wow.
and I have another son that is here in Texas, and then I have a daughter who is in her first year in high school. She just turned 14, so it's a lot of fun at the house these days.
Yeah, 14, that was not my favorite age. I have a 28-year-old girl, and 14 was not. I try to not think about that time, so hopefully you're not going through that. And you're divorced.
I am divorced. My divorce was actually final last December, so almost a year now. I was married for 25 years.
Wow, so that's a big transition.
It's a huge transition, it really is. And so now I'm on a quest to conquer the world and share my story and be able to inspire other people that whenever that they go through something like that, they really can pick themselves back up again, start all over, and live a life that makes them fulfilled. And
I think a lot of people could relate to that because you basically raised your kids for a number of years, right?
Yes.
You were a mom. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. You feel like whatever you've been doing for a number of years, whether it's a mom or whether it's whatever they're doing, the driving or whatever they're doing, they feel like that's all they can do.
Right.
So how did you get from that kind of feeling of, can I do anything else? I might be stuck here, to discovering what you wanted to do?
Well, as my son was going off to college in Australia, and my other son was graduating, I realized that everybody was leaving, and wow, what am I going to do all day now that they're, not at home? And so I was in the fashion industry. When I was 16, I started selling shoes at a shoe store. And so I was always around clothes and shoes. And so I had a friend ask me if I would be interested in actually helping her dress for different occasions and whatnot. She was a speaker and asked me if I would do that, and I started doing that. And from there, I just became a fashion stylist and had met my husband in the fashion industry many years ago, and just continued doing that. But people that I had had relationships with 25 years ago still remembered me. And then picked up from there and started traveling around with an entertainer named Penny Gilly, and she has her own.
And what's her name?
Penny Gilly.
Penny Gilly.
Penny Gilly.
Oh, we'll have to check her out.
Yeah, relation to Mickey Gilly, who has the Urban Cowboy. I don't know if you ever watched that show.
Oh,
or not.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so.
And you dressed her in bling, right?
Yes.
So
lots
like
of bling and
boots,
sparkle.
bling
Yes, shirts,
everything bling.
Everything, yes. Because
Okay.
when you're on stage and you're out there, performing for millions of people, you want to,
Do you have any pictures that you could give us that we could show to the audience?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Oh, we need some bling pictures. We got to see what she dressed these people in.
Yeah. So I started traveling around with her and meeting other entertainers through that industry as well. And then I guess YvonneGeorge.com was born. And I actually had my own website, and I sold all the bling that everybody saw on her TV show. They would go to my website and they would want whatever she had on stage and stuff. And so that was the start of what my kids had started off saying, oh, Mom, this is just a hobby, into this is a career for me, and I'm working, 24 hours a day, I feel like, but I love it, and so it didn't feel like work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then after the divorce, you kind of transitioned into another business.
Yes, I
So
did.
tell me about that one.
Well, it's called VIP Divorce Discovery, and so as I was going through my own divorce, I think one of the things that I struggled with the most was not knowing what to do.
Right.
And
yeah, it's an overwhelming.
it is very overwing, and I was lucky enough.
And you have so many needs, right? You have legal needs. You have needs to just, where are the resources? You have, if there's counseling, you need so many different things that cover kind of all these different areas.
Right, right. Well, actually, the company that was helping me with my own, because I was blessed enough to actually have somebody that I came across that could help me during my divorce. After I had gone through my divorce, asked me to jump on board, and they wanted to begin to have other services as well to provide to help
that's a great
people
idea.
with credit repair, investigations. So many things are split whenever you
Right.
get divorced, and you have to start with square one again, and you don't want to use the same accountant because you don't really
Right.
know the trust issue there. So now I'm on a mission because I really want to be able to help other people who are going through divorce, to help them get through it, because I want them to understand that I've been through it, and I can be a trusted friend and advisor to help them through the whole process. And it can be very discouraging at times, but if you know that you have somebody that you can trust and turn to, that that is going to advise you,
Well, and just help you through the process.
yes, that's
I have
just
a
huge.
friend going through it right now. Well, actually, she's one of the businesses that I coach, and she is just dropping weight. She's in the beginning phases where you're just so devastated that she's having trouble getting out of bed and just getting up and get going, and it's hard to even look at the accounting and the finances
It
and
is.
stuff, because she's just been just knocked over
Right.
by the emotions of it all.
And that's a good thing about what we do now as well, is that we actually have a personal development coach that actually helps people transition through that and kind of really get the mind in the right place as they're going through everything,
Oh, that's
because you
good.
just need to be able to talk through some things with somebody that that can really help you during that time. I think that that's very, very important, to be able to have somebody that you can turn to when you're emotional and you're not able to think straight.
Right. We just did a truck tank and taped it at the GATS, and one of them was a recently divorced guy, and he was talking about how much harder it made his ability to be able to do the pitch. Where we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back to talk more about VIP Divorce Discovery and how to turn your desires into gold. See you in a sec. I want you to start your business or idea right away. And what I did was I taped for you a dream retreat, available at the link below. If you get it, you need to check it out, watch it, because while hiking Big Bend, I stopped in several different places and talked you through what you should be working on to get the ball rolling. I want you to find your destiny, and I want you to take action. Click the link below and join me on the retreat. Welcome back to Homemade Money, and you're here with Bethany Williams and Yvonne George, entrepreneur of VIP. What were you saying? What's the name of it?
VIP Divorce Discovery.
Divorce Discovery, which is a company that helps people deal with all of the things they have to go through when they're going through divorce.
Yes, yes. And we also work along with your attorney as well. So when you have to fill out that dreaded paperwork of inventory and appraisements, we actually come out and assist and help do that and prepare that for you, so that whenever you get ready to turn that in, we prepare that for you, and then your attorney is ready to go to final trial or mediation. So we really try to help take the load off of you and just work with you side by side during the most difficult time of your life.
Right.
When you're
right.
not thinking clearly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. When you have no brain cells
Exactly.
operating.
Yeah.
Now, I love that you said you have a book.
Yes, I have a book.
Tell me about it.
It's called Behind Her Brand, and basically I was one of 12 authors that co-authored this book, and the book is basically about all of the wonderful journey that we all came across as we were building our brand, and the mistakes that we made and the victories that we had, and all of the things that we learned. You know, one of the things, because I had been staying home for so many years,
Right.
was my challenge was the computer and just technology, trying to learn social media and all of those things. And every time I'd learn something, then something new would come out. And I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. And I think the most challenging thing for me was that my kids knew more than I did.
I know, I always ask my kids. So I have a 16-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a 28-year-old. And if I need to know anything about social media, and people think I'm a social media giant, right?
Yeah.
If I need to know anything, I ask them.
Yeah.
And they know it inside and out. They know all the specifics, and they walk me through it in a way that I can figure it out.
Well, one of the things that I learned is that if you don't know how, you can learn how, or you can find somebody that can teach you and show you how to do something. So I think one of the things that helped me the most was I was always open to letting anybody show me something, and I've had several people tell me that I'm kind of like a sponge. I just soak up information because I want to learn it all, and I want to be able to do it all, but sometimes you have to ask for help. And anyway, so this book is basically about all of that, and if it can help other entrepreneurs along the way,
Right.
so that it can encourage them and know that you're not going to always get everything right all the time.
That's
And
the worst
so,
part.
yeah.
And a lot of the people watching this show are either starting a business or thinking about starting a business.
Yes.
So brand is going to be so pivotal in that.
Yeah.
What would you say, as you went through this incredible journey from housewife to businesswoman, what was the biggest struggle that you ran into? What was the hardest thing that you came up against?
I would definitely have to say just not knowing how to do everything that I needed to know how to do. Searching for just how to work the computer to do the different social media websites and do things like that. I just technology was a huge issue that I had, and that was the biggest struggle, I think, for me, was that.
Was asking, or just finding where to look, or just letting yourself
Just
not know?
knowing how to do it. I'm so hard on myself because I felt like I needed to already know how to do all of that.
Right, right.
Whereas there were other people who had been doing that their whole life, right? And if I wasn't room mom or doing something at the school, then I mean that was my world. And so then all of a sudden I'm having to learn all of the social media and the Twitter and Facebook and everything. And so that was my biggest challenge, as well as I think one of the other biggest things was when I finally broke away, everybody was like, okay, there she goes, posting again, there she goes. And so for a lot of people, they weren't used to seeing me out there in the limelight trying to better myself and do things.
Right,
and
right.
so they wanted me to just stay home.
They wanted you to be who they knew
and
you
so
as.
I think that was hard because I think I always wanted to please everybody, but the time came.
Work.
No, it doesn't work. But the time came where I had to ignore what everybody was saying about me posting again, because we do live in a world of social media today, and it is important, and I can reach people that way much more easier than just
the old marketing tactics. And actually, that's
Definitely.
one of the big misconceptions in businesses. Is some people that are starting their businesses are still trying to market the way you've always known. You're still trying to do just the marketing brochures and put things on people's doors, and you're not using the social media. So we'll definitely be doing some shows to talk through the specifics of how you tackle that.
I think probably one of the most important things that I can say that has helped me the most is I do use social media, but I am such a people person, and I pick up that phone and I call and I talk to people, and because I want them to hear my voice, and I want them to feel like that they're comfortable talking to me.
Right.
And it may be old fashioned, and it probably is, but that's okay.
You still have to connect to the person.
I really believe that that's important.
So if you left our audience with 3 things that you thought were important to the journey, 3 things that they could do going forward, what would those 3 pivotal things be?
I think that probably the most three things that I would say is do not let fear rule your life. I think so many people, stop before they ever begin because they're afraid to try something.
Afraid to start.
Yeah, definitely. And I would also say that you don't need to listen to that chatter between your ears.
Oh, the negative voices.
I'm telling you.
That one got me over and over and over again. I knew every bad thing I could say to myself.
I know. It's funny how we kind of do that sometimes, but I would definitely, say don't listen to that. You speak life to what you want. And then the third thing I would have to say is, go all in. Do not be afraid to have new opportunities. Get out of your element. Go out and meet people that you've never met before. And
I love that. Go all in. That could be in lights.
Yeah, definitely.
Go all in. I did a video that said jump out of your comfort zone. And I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, you have to do that, because if you just remain, doing your day-to-day life and not moving forward and
then you get what you always got.
Yeah, definitely.
Get what you always got.
Yeah, I just think that, it's been one of the things that's pushed me along the way.
That's awesome. Check out her website. We're posting it below. Look at the book on 12 examples of amazing branding success. And thank you for hanging out with Yvonne George and Bethany Williams on this week's edition of Homemade Money. And we want you to go all out this week. Have a super great week.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.